All right, everybody, let's dive into something that's got the whole world buzzing right now.
Oh, yeah.
AI everywhere you look, and for good reason, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's really transforming just about every industry you can think of.
Absolutely.
Today, we're going deep on something specific.
That's
We're
true.
talking custom GPTs and how they can be a total game changer for businesses like yours.
Yeah, custom GPTs, it's not just hype. This
No,
is the real deal.
yeah.
This is something that can really give you a competitive edge.
So for anyone who's maybe still lapping their head around what a custom GPT actually is,
Uh-huh.
can you break it down for us?
Yeah, you think of something like ChatGPT, right?
Yeah,
It's amazing. It's drawing on this massive pool of general information.
right.
A custom GPT is different. It's like having a version of ChatGPT that's been trained
Oh, yeah.
specifically on your company's data.
Oh, so instead of trying to explain your whole business model to ChatGPT every time you want to use it,
Yeah.
you're essentially building an AI that already gets you.
Yeah, precisely. And, it's your company documents, your style guides,
Wow.
even past customer interactions, all of that
Interesting.
becomes part of the AI's training data.
So that means then it can generate outputs that are not only accurate, but also aligned with your brand, your specific goal.
Exactly. It's about having an AI that can truly speak your language,
Wow.
understand the nuances of your business. That's where the real power lies.
Now, I know some folks might be thinking, well, wait a minute, can't I just get ChatGPT to do a lot of this stuff with some clever prompting?
Well, yeah, to some extent you can, but here's where the custom GPT really shines.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to explain a complex process to someone who's never seen it before
Yeah.
versus having someone who already knows the ropes
Right.
and can hit the ground running.
So it's not just about getting information out of the AI.
Uh-huh.
It's about the AI understanding the context of your business
Yeah,
and working within that framework.
absolutely. That level of understanding is what allows a custom GPT to
Okay.
generate outputs that are truly tailored to your needs
Interesting.
and reflect your brand's unique voice and style.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
I'm curious about the practical applications. Where are we seeing custom GPTs making the biggest impact in businesses right now?
You're seeing it all over. We're seeing it across departments. Take sales, for example.
Okay.
A custom GPT can analyze lead data and qualify potential customers much faster than a human could.
So it's like having an AI sales assistant
Yeah,
working 24/7 to identify the most promising leads.
exactly. And it goes beyond just identification. It can help personalize outreach,
Right.
craft targeted product recommendations, even pull key insights and action items from meetings.
So it's like it's taking all of those repetitive, time-consuming tasks off the plates of salespeople
Yeah.
so they can focus on what they do best, building relationships and closing deals.
That's exactly the idea. And it's not just sales. Customer support is another area
Oh, yeah.
where we're seeing major benefits.
Like what?
Imagine an AI that can instantly answer frequently asked questions,
Right.
troubleshoot problems in the company's voice,
Oh.
or even suggest improvements to help docs based on common customer queries.
It's almost like having a virtual customer support rep
Yeah,
available around the clock,
that's a great way to put it, and it can help businesses provide faster, more personalized support.
which ultimately leads to happier customers.
Absolutely.
And I'm guessing this just scratches the surface.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, are there other departments where custom GPTs are really proving their worth?
Absolutely. We're seeing them being used in IT,
Wow.
in engineering, in HR, and even marketing,
Sure.
revolutionizing everything from code review to content creation.
Speaking of marketing, there's this really cool example I came across, a YouTube video by Blazing Zebra,
Uh-huh.
where they actually built a PPC campaign creator using a custom GPT.
That's a great example of the kind of innovation.
Yeah.
We're seeing they essentially created a system where you feed in a landing page
Okay.
and the AI generates targeted Google and Facebook ads for you.
So instead of spending hours crafting ad copy,
Yeah,
testing different variations,
right.
you can have an AI do the heavy lifting.
Precisely. It's about automating those tasks that can be
Wow.
so time consuming and allowing marketers to focus on
Yeah.
strategy and creativity.
I think a lot of listeners are probably wondering, how does that even work?
Sure.
Can you walk us through the process of building something like that PPC campaign creator?
Yeah, it all starts with creating what we call a prompt sequence, which is basically a set of instructions
Okay.
that guide the AI through the task.
So you're giving the AI a step-by-step roadmap for
Right.
how to create the ads.
Exactly. And then you translate that prompt sequence into a format that the custom GPT can understand and execute.
It's fascinating how much complexity you can pack into these systems.
Absolutely.
But what about data privacy?
Yeah,
I'm sure some listeners are concerned about handing over sensitive company information.
sure.
to an AI?
That's a very valid concern, but
Yeah.
the good news is there are platforms specifically designed to address this.
Okay.
Go Search, for example,
Uh-huh.
allows you to build custom GPTs on a secure platform
Right.
that protects your data.
So you're not just throwing your data into the void.
Yeah.
You're working within a controlled environment.
Exactly, and that's crucial for businesses that are dealing with sensitive information. You can leverage the power of AI without compromising on security.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, what a custom GPT is, how it works, some real-world examples of how it's being used,
Yeah.
and even touched on data privacy.
Uh-huh.
But before we move on, I think it's important to acknowledge that custom GPTs, like any technology, have their limitations.
Absolutely. It's important to have realistic expectations.
Right.
They're not magic bullets,
Yeah.
that will solve every problem.
Right.
They're powerful tools, but they're still tools.
So they're not going to replace human judgment
Right.
or creativity entirely.
No, they're best used to augment human capabilities,
Okay.
not replace them altogether.
And to be effective, they need to be used thoughtfully
Uh-huh.
and strategically.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that they're only as good as the data they're trained on.
Right.
So garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Makes sense. So data quality is key.
Yeah.
Just like with any other AI application.
Absolutely. And it's important to be aware of potential biases that might exist in your data
Oh, sure.
and take steps to mitigate them.
Yeah, we don't want the AI perpetuating any existing biases.
Right. It's about using AI responsibly and ethically.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork, we've explored some of the possibilities and acknowledged some of the limitations. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's time to dive deeper into some specific use cases and see how custom GPTs are transforming
Yeah.
different departments within businesses.
Sounds good to me. Let's get specific and see how this technology is actually playing out in the real world. All right, so we've established that custom GPTs are like having a brainy AI intern who's been trained specifically on your business.
Right.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
How are companies actually using this technology to make their lives easier and their businesses more successful?
Well, we talked about sales, and one thing we haven't touched on is how custom GPTs can actually analyze past customer interactions to identify patterns
Oh, interesting.
and predict future behavior.
So it's not just about who agent to target,
Uh-huh.
but when and how to target them.
Precisely, imagine your sales team having access to an AI that can tell them, based on this customer's past interactions,
Wow.
they're most likely to respond positively to a personalized email with a discount offer on Tuesdays.
It's like having a crystal ball for sales.
Yeah,
That level of insight could be a game changer.
it absolutely can be. And this type of analysis can be applied to other areas of the business as well.
Like where?
Customer support, for example, a custom GPT can analyze support tickets to identify common issues
Okay.
and suggest improvements to processes or knowledge-based articles.
So instead of just reacting to problems,
Yeah.
you can use the AI to proactively prevent them.
Exactly. And it can also help personalize the support experience. Imagine a GPT that knows a customer's purchase history and past support interactions.
Okay.
It can tailor its responses and recommendations accordingly.
It's like having a dedicated support agent for every customer, but without the overhead.
Right. It's about efficiency and effectiveness.
I like it.
And speaking of efficiency, let's talk about IT. Custom GPTs are being used to automate tasks like password resets, software installations,
Wow.
even incident triage.
So it's like having an AI help desk
Yeah.
that can handle all of those routine tasks that eat up so much time.
Precisely, and it frees up human IT staff to focus on more complex issues and strategic projects.
Now, we can't talk about custom GPTs without mentioning content creation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where a lot of the excitement is right now.
And for good reason, the ability to generate high-quality, tailored content is a huge game changer. We already touched on the PPC ad creator,
Right.
but the applications go way beyond that.
Like what?
Imagine a custom GPT that's trained on your company's blog post, website, copy, and marketing materials. It can then generate new content in a similar style and tone.
So it's not just about churning out generic content.
Right.
It's about creating content that's consistent with your brand voice
Yeah.
and resonates with your target audience.
Exactly. And it can be used for everything from blog posts and social media updates to product descriptions and email campaigns.
It's like having an AI copywriter on staff working 24/7 to generate content for you.
And it can even help personalize content recommendations. Imagine a GPT that knows a customer's browsing history and past purchases.
Okay.
It can suggest articles, products, or services that are most likely to be of interest.
So you're not just blasting everyone with the same generic messages. You're tailoring the content to individual preferences.
Precisely, it's about using AI to create more engaging and meaningful experiences for your customers.
Okay, so we've seen how custom GPTs can impact sales, customer support, IT, and marketing.
Uh-huh.
Are there any other departments where this technology is making waves?
Absolutely. HR is another area where we're seeing a lot of innovation. Custom GPTs can be used to screen job applicants, schedule interviews, even create personalized onboarding materials for new hires.
So it's automating a lot of those time-consuming HR tasks
Right.
that can bog down teams,
Right. And it can also help ensure consistency in things like candidate evaluation and onboarding processes.
which can lead to a fairer and more efficient hiring process.
Exactly. And it frees up HR professionals to focus on more strategic initiatives like employee engagement and development.
It's incredible to see how much potential this technology has to transform businesses across the board.
And I think we're still just scratching the surface. As the technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative applications emerge.
I'm excited to see what the future holds, but before we get too carried away with all the amazing possibilities, I think it's important to bring things back down to earth and
Yeah,
talk about some practical considerations.
absolutely. Enthusiasm is great, but we always got to balance it with a healthy dose of realism.
Right, so let's talk about some of the challenges and potential pitfalls that businesses might encounter when implementing custom GPTs.
One of the biggest challenges is ensuring data quality. These systems are only as good as the data they're trained on.
Right.
If your data is incomplete, inconsistent, or biased, your custom GPT is going to reflect those flaws.
So before you even think about building a custom GPT, you need to take a hard look at your data and make sure it's up to snuff.
Exactly. Data cleaning and preparation are crucial steps in the process.
And what about the actual implementation? Is it something that any business can do, or do you need a team of AI experts on staff?
Fortunately, it's becoming increasingly accessible. There are platforms like GoSearch that make it relatively easy to build and deploy custom GPTs, even without a deep technical background.
So you don't need to be a coding whiz to leverage this technology.
Right. A lot of the complexity is abstracted away by these platforms.
That's good news for businesses that might be intimidated by the technical aspects.
Absolutely. But even with these platforms, it's important to have a clear understanding of your goals and how you plan to use the custom GPTs.
So you need a strategy, don't just jump into it blindly.
Exactly. Think about what problems you're trying to solve, what processes you want to improve, and how a custom GPT can help you achieve those goals.
And what about cost? Is this something that only large enterprises with deep pockets can afford?
Not necessarily. The cost of building and deploying custom GPTs has come down significantly in recent years.
Okay.
And many platforms offer flexible pricing plans to accommodate businesses of all sizes.
So it's not just a toy for the big guys. The smaller businesses can get in on the action too.
Absolutely. And the potential ROI can be significant. If you're using a custom GPT to automate tasks, improve efficiency, and generate revenue,
Right.
the cost can quickly pay for itself.
All right, so we talked about data quality, implementation, and cost. Are there any other potential pitfalls that businesses should be aware of?
One thing to keep in mind is that custom GPTs are not a set it and forget it solution. They require ongoing monitoring and maintenance.
So you can't just build it and then walk away. You need to keep an eye on it and make adjustments as needed.
Right. You need to make sure it's performing as expected, that the data is being updated, and that the outputs are still aligned with your goals.
It's like any other business tool. It requires regular care and feeding.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that AI is constantly evolving, so you need to stay up to date on the latest advancements and be prepared to adapt your custom GPT as needed.
It's a continuous learning process.
It is, but it's a process that can be incredibly rewarding. The potential benefits of custom GPTs are huge.
Yeah.
And as the technology continues to mature, those benefits are only going to grow.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about the potential of custom GPTs and how they can be used to transform businesses.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, the best way to really understand the power of this technology is to start experimenting with it yourself. Don't be afraid to try things out and see what works for you. Who knows? You might just discover the next big thing in AI.
And there you have it, folks, another deep dive into the world of AI, this time focusing on the game-changing potential of custom GPTs. We hope you found this episode informative and inspiring. As always, we encourage you to continue exploring this fascinating field because the future of business is here and it's powered by AI.